Meritocracy is an age-old philosophy that essentially means advancement by merit. Michael Young popularized this concept as a system of government in which people rise to positions of political power based on proven knowledge and ability. Some uphold this ideology, others argue that today it is a myth. And this is a valid claim because we all come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Our electoral processes are driven by financial influence. And as Young forewarned us, standardized examination of merit has created a self-fulfilling disparity in our education systems. This conceptualization of meritocracy has led to a dead-end argument, and it is time to revisit our assumptions. For merit does not govern people, it governs knowledge. Evaluating people based on merit is reductive. Evaluating knowledge based on merit is science. Now, science today employs an impure meritocracy manifested in the peer review system. Scientists come up with ideas and they write proposals for institutional approval and funding. They conduct their experiments, write their reports, and submit their papers to publishers. The editor then forwards the paper to 2 to 4 anonymous pre-registered experts for review. Once necessary revisions are made, their papers are published, and only then does their work gain widespread exposure and open doors for conversations and new ideas. This is a process designed to sift for the most meritable work, yet it's riddled with counterproductivity. Too often, subpar research passes into the mainstream media. Conflicts of interest and consensus bias pass unaddressed, and middleman reinterpretations of research, without bounds to self-interest, continue to cause dissonance in our practices. Scientists have to pay to get their work reviewed and published, and this process can take months, even years. They are neither compensated nor accredited for their work, creating a one-way anonymity that inevitably results in a publish or perish culture. Mass print and distribution takes a significant toll on our natural resources, which may be deemed largely unnecessary in the digital age. But the biggest injustice is that the public doesn't have free access to scientific literature, 80% of which is funded by their tax dollars. Phrases like experts say or studies show distance readers from the source of knowledge and force to accept authoritative credibility as proof. This is an outdated system with ample demand and opportunity for reconfiguration and growth. Now, we used to experience a similar dilemma in the media. There was a time when the only news the public would receive were published in newspapers or reported on TV. Then the internet came along and brought 2 crucial changes to the media landscape. First, it created a peer-to-peer infrastructure and gave each user an equal opportunity to share. That's democratization. Then people began having online identities and congregating in groups of mutual interest. That's socialization. And thanks to this revolution, we can now access an immense collection of news and media, contributed by millions of users worldwide, tagged and organized by topics of interest. And the same tools that made this possible can reveal a similar paradigm shift in the sciences. A democratized and socialized peer review is what I like to call a cloud review system. A cloud review system is a self-regulating platform that connects scientists, businesses, and students based on shared fields of expertise. Scientists can publish their papers without time and cost barriers and retain full ownership of their work by virtue of submission. Scientific literature nests within the public domain, and every paper is screened through the eye of the community. And since cloud review is inclusive of all peers of mutual expertise, consensus becomes a dynamic social force that continuously sifts for high-caliber research. This creates an environment of scientific Darwinism where the fittest knowledge thrives. Now, the reasons a paper must be reviewed apply to the reviews themselves. The scientists can evaluate papers and each other's reviews, turning an anonymous pass-or-fail process to a fluid conversation about the merits of the subject at hand. Data is shared in open-linked databases to provide proper evidence for a paper, in turn imposing suspicion on those who withhold data. With digital publication and open access, we can quantify the impact of a scientist's paper and reputation based on variables unknown in print publications. Errors and frauds will be audited by the community at large, as well political and financial influences will be flagged duly. And all knowledge shared through this portal is subject to evaluation by merit. Now, how do we define merit? Drawing inspiration from the Buddhist perspective, merit is qualified by three central tenets. For something to be meritable, it must be shared freely. The activity it incites determines how cultivating it is. And its virtue, the object of peer review, is determined by cloud analytics. Cloud analytics considers three dimensions of knowledge for review. Accuracy measures breadth, precision measures depth, and consensus illuminates scope, which is the range of perspectives on any particular topic. For any given scientific literature, accuracy examines the validity of its theory and claims. Precision gauges the efficacy of its methods and data. And consensus by vote determines the acceptance of the paper. A complete score on accuracy and precision implies a viable solution. Where it meets consensus is an ideal solution. The goal is to evaluate content based on accuracy and precision and seek to understand the different perspectives in play. And our ability to harness collective objectivity matures communities towards perspectivity. We can democratize and socialize the ways in which we make business and policy decisions based on cloud-reviewed science. Now, as scientists begin to operate in this circuit, we can incorporate the business sector. Businesses provide market feedback loops. Every day they face obstacles to overcome, seeking solutions that are well-aligned and lucrative. They can pose these challenges to the community and provide field data and consumer reports that can help orient research trends. And they have the opportunity to forge direct partnerships with scientists to propel research to development, in turn accelerating the scientific process itself. And through these interactions between scientists and businesses, students reap the benefits. The growing bank of scientific literature will be an educational resource for students and teachers. Instead of just passively learning about the world to decide what discipline to follow down a career path, they can explore research trends and occupational personalities that can help better prepare them for postgrad life. This is a platform where they can engage directly with businesses and scientists through apprenticeships. Now, each scientist and business will have a consulate, their social constituency with internal channels of communication. A consulate is an extended workforce, a think tank. See, research drives business, business drives research. By systemizing this symbiosis in an open access network, we can create an entire job sector of scientific advisors, business ambassadors, and apprentices who source the cloud to find new connections and opportunities between these two domains. Consulates gain human capital across institutional and geographic boundaries, but more importantly, they provide experiential education for students. Now, in meritocracy, there are 4 types of quests one may undertake. An already published paper can be uploaded for cloud review. A scientist can propose a research to call on interdisciplinary collaborations at the speed of social networks. Projects indicate single endeavors that are considered complete once their goals are achieved. And initiatives are plans to kickstart a working entity with an ongoing mission. And all these efforts have one thing in common. They're pursuits of ideas with set objectives. And ideas have gravity. The greater the idea, the stronger its pull. In meritocracy, cloud-reviewed knowledge in support of the idea and the will and ability of its social constituency determine an idea's execution potential. Now, the interface has the same fundamental structure for all 4 pages. You can upload a paper or launch a new quest, and the body of the work will accumulate on a wiki, edited and governed exclusively by the collaborators of the quest. Tailing the wiki will be forums that engage the greater community in the discussion. And each post will have a simple 3-button interface. Metadata contains all the static information about a post. You can respond to it in a multitude of ways, or engage the content by sharing it on another social site, relaying it to another space, compiling digests for special interest topics, or exporting them for offline reading. See, technology by design enables behavior. Using this modular framework, we're going to build an open source library of plugins and widgets that address the specific needs of each community and enable new ways we can respond and engage with content. A meritocracy is not an overarching umbrella for all scientific literature, but rather an infrastructure to build upon. It will be designed as a plug-and-play solution to integrate with business websites and dozens of other invaluable open science initiatives. The aim is to reposition all stakeholders to create value that is shared by all. For scientists, this will be an open access repository of scientific literature. Students can engage in apprenticeships as formulated by each consulate, and perhaps this process of participatory education can evolve and integrate into various graduate and undergraduate programs. The public will have direct access to the source of knowledge and their assessed merits. We can help collect data and generate ideas, over time, increasing our overall scientific literacy. Businesses and field professionals turn everyday problems to opportunities for development. And they provide tacit knowledge. That's knowledge imperceivable in a laboratory, such as physicians' observations on the effects of drugs on their patients. Media professionals and science writers report on these complex exchanges. They can write layman's versions of papers linked directly to the original study with approval of their research collaborators, ensuring their texts are not misinterpreted or misused. Publishers are experienced evaluators. With an increased flow of literature due to the nature of open systems, they can cultivate their positions by offering subscription-based digests, whose value lays in their resources and expertise to survey interdisciplinary opportunities and compile high-impact papers, a task most individuals simply won't have the time for on their own. Policymakers can leverage their advocacy based on cloud-reviewed science, leading to better representations of different sides of increasingly controversial issues. And investors will have a greater evidence base for deciding what research is worth funding. The value proposition here for all stakeholders is collective knowledge as a common resource. Meritocracy presupposes knowledge as a public utility. If a group chooses to operate a private platform and make their content inaccessible to the public, they will pay taxes. If a group figures out a way to monetize their platform by a proprietary software plugin or some distinguished service and charge their users, they will pay taxes. Otherwise, meritocracy will be completely loyalty-free for all. Now, we will employ an open source development approach from its nascent stages. And in spirit of meritocracy, I invite all stakeholders to join us in formulating the community's needs, designing technical solutions, and helping shape this idea's evolution. Meritocracy will accumulate our collective knowledge as a byproduct of these objective-driven interactions. Decentralized communities will form around pursuits of powerful ideas. They will self-maintain their cloud review systems, while the content shared on the cloud is centrally indexed by research field as we incrementally map out the knowledge space. And meritocracy will be a central access portal to the cloud on our grand quest to make knowledge commonwealth of the people. Thank you.